What's going on YouTube? This is yours truly, Dre the Plug, coming at you live with some more technical heat. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button below. Make sure y'all hit that bell button below so y'all can stay notified every single time I drop new technical heat. But let's get back into these interviews. Roll the clip.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Brandon Glanton. I am a IT project manager working for the Boeing company. I got my undergrad degree in information technology, and I am currently pursuing an MBA at the University of South Carolina as well. And I live in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay, Brandon, so what made you pick this field specifically?
All right, yeah. So I actually chose this field my sophomore year of college. I switched from a mechanical engineering major because I realized that engineering wasn't something specifically that I wanted to do, but I always loved computers and technology. So it was a natural fit for me to transition from engineering to IT. But at the same time, it still meant that I got to work with engineers and around engineering projects. So that's really what drove me to pursue a career in information technology.
Okay, Brandon, so what do you feel is the most biggest benefit when it comes down to being in this field?
So for me, the biggest benefit, I have to say, there are two parts to it. So the first part is really getting to help people and companies understand technology and also integrate it and figure out the best solution for them that produces the best results of what they're trying to achieve for their products or their services or just interactions between people. So that's one benefit, being able to do that. And then the second benefit is more personal for me in the fact that it's something that I naturally like. So it's sometimes it's definitely aggravating or headache, but overall, being around technology and engineering and science, that's something that I love. So why wouldn't I want to do it? You know, that's an amazing benefit. It means that, to me, that means that I'll always be having an exciting career. Honestly, when I started working in IT, I didn't realize the impact that this field has on practically every industry there is. I mean, there isn't any industry that doesn't have some sort of impact or connection to IT. So that's probably the biggest thing that I did not realize when I jumped into this field. Something else I'll say is the opportunities that would come to me being in IT, being a technology or STEM professional. I didn't realize, especially being a Black man, how much opportunity there was for me when I started pursuing this career.
Okay, so what made you jump into creating like all of this cool STEM type of projects and then posting it on Instagram? What made you want to jump into, getting into that lane? You do it just like yours truly.
Yeah, so the STEM projects. So that's something that I've always wanted to do. And I'll start by saying that growing up, I used to watch all these different shows that were based kind of around science and civil engineering and industrial engineering. Things like Build It Bigger or Mega Factories, just some of those things. And I was like, okay, I want to do that. Like, I want to be able to one day host an episode of the show where I just go to an engineering site and I actually work with the engineers or whoever is there, the construction managers, whatever, and let's just talk about it. Like, that's always excited me. So when COVID happened, I was thinking to myself, like, now you got the time, you're gonna have plenty of time, what are you gonna do with it? And it was one of the first thoughts that came to my mind. Well, if I'm gonna be stuck in the house, why not experiment? Why not try to do these different science projects where I could explore all these various topics and I would be learning, like I would be keeping myself entertained, I mean, there wasn't anything for me to lose. So that's what really kind of drove me to start to do it. And then now that I am doing it, the vision is so much bigger now. There's so much that I want to do with it, and so many different people that I want to involve. So to really make an impact on lower, like, represented minorities that don't get the opportunity to explore these projects and to explore these concepts on a day-to-day basis. So that's what really drove me to jump into it.
Okay, so tell the people how you got in with Boeing. Like, how was the interview process? How's the day by day actually working with Boeing? You know, Boeing is an extremely pristine company to work for. All my engineering friends that work for Boeing, they typically love it. They all say like they're not gonna go anywhere else. Tell me why. Can you kind of just break it down for me?
Yeah, so for me to get into Boeing and IT, it was I just applied. So for instance, so let me break it down. Okay, so I had previously applied twice and I didn't get an interview. And on the third application, I got a call back for an interview. And Boeing's interview panels are really straightforward and structured. So they use this interview process called the STAR process, and it stands for situation, issue, actions, and what resolved. Basically, throughout the interview process, you tell a little bit about yourself, and for every interview question, it's based around a scenario, and you have to give your analysis of that scenario that you've done in your past experience, and you have to say what the situation was, what actions you took, and what were the results. So that's where almost any interview at Boeing. I will say that if you go for a more technical position, or maybe perhaps some engineering positions, there's also going to be a technical interview that you have to do, where you may be given a challenge and then you have to come up with a proper solution for that challenge. And I've heard that those last about 3 hours. Mine's lasted only about 45 minutes. And every position that I've kind of moved through at Boeing, which has been 4 now, all of those interviews have been about an hour. And on day to day, it really depends on what your job is and what your role is. I'll say that my favorite job was working in the factory on a project where we were kind of looking at the human machine interaction for all of our automation tools that are used to help build and put together the final assembly of the 787 Dreamliner. So just being in the factory around all these different tooling equipments that are huge, that are like 20 feet high, and these airplane sessions that are super long, that was definitely my favorite job. And what I did was I would work with each of the pieces of machinery and just kind of take a look at it and see, if there's any risk with the computing infrastructure, and put together a database that was fed back to leadership for them to see where their risk was as far as the computing infrastructure within the factory goes. So that's definitely a day-to-day of a type of role that you can have at Boeing.
Okay, so based off your 7-year experience, what's some good advice that you could give to the viewer right now as far as how to grow in corporate, how to prove, how to move up, how to really just, make it a more smoother process as far as improving in the corporate world?
All right, so for me, this is always really important to me, because when I started in the corporate world, my family, I didn't have anybody that was already working in a corporate environment. So I was the first person. So I didn't know how to move, or all the things that you should be aware of when you're working in a corporate environment. I'll say one of the first things that you should do is definitely get a mentor, because they've already probably been working at the company for a while. They're going to let you know the ins and out and how you move and what are some of the key things that you need to do at that specific company as far as the culture go that will allow you to go far in that company. The second thing is I would say you definitely have to be engaged. So on your team that you join or whatever the case may be, show the senior members of the team that you're really interested in the things that are going on, even if it's not a project that you're working on. Like for me at Boeing, my first gig, I worked with the factory group, but my job was more operational based. So if an application went down, like I would have to analyze how it impacted production. Whereas the other team was like out there, right there at the airplane trying to figure out what's going on. So I would ask a lot of questions and they see that and it shows that you want to learn, that you want to grow. So be engaged. And then I'll say also the third thing is understand how your performance is rated or how you're judged, right? Because if something happens, which it can, then you need to be in a good position performance-wise to make sure that your spot is secured. And to expand upon that, I mean, as far as the goals and objectives that you set with your team, I know every company does it differently, but if you feel like the work that you are working on isn't, if it's not helping you grow, then I think that you should express that, or that you should not just express it, but also be like, hey, I feel like this is something that I know well. What about if I move on to this, right? So come not only with an issue, but with a solution to whatever is bothering you. Because nobody likes to just hear problems all the time. What intrigues them is when you bring up a problem, but you also come with a solution. So those are the couple of things that I would say that you should keep in mind as you move throughout the corporate world. Oh, finally, one important thing. So for me in IT, I've always been told that the amount of time that I should spend in any position is 2 years. And at that 2-year mark, you should move on. And that's something that has been very helpful for me personally, and also has helped with people knowing me at the company. So that's some advice that I would pass on to anyone else. So that I have coming up, my Instagram handle is BGRT8. That's BGRT8.
And that concludes this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It really do help my channel when it comes down to the YouTube algorithm. If you guys have any questions regarding anything, just hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on the gram at DreThePlug123. And then also go check out my other YouTube channel. This is actually my second channel. My first one was called Andre ClassicCuts. I basically go in and give tutorials about all types of different haircuts. I actually show people how to do different type of things with the clippers that has never been done, and I pretty much go into detail as to why certain things happen. So definitely go check out that channel. Besides that, be on the lookout for my next content that's dropping. Be on the lookout for it because it's coming real soon. And I'm out.